Okay, and to increase chord change speed, there is no shortcut. The only way to do it is to practice going back and forth between the chords. So let's start with C and G. You're going to want to do that, but you're going to want to start as slow as you can with your metronome. And gradually work up speed. There is no shortcut to avoid constant repetition, gradually getting faster and faster, one notch on the metronome at a time. But there are some exercises you can do that'll help you out with that. First of all, you want to be at the stage in your chord playing where your fingers know where those chords are. So you can slam the C down with all three fingers at once, slam the G down with all three fingers at once, and not have to be looking at it, not have to be going, where do my fingers go? If you're at that point, or if you're like looking where your fingers need to go, then you're not ready to be working on speed for chord changes yet. You're still working on muscle memory of where your fingers go. Your fingers have to know where to go without looking at them before you want to start worrying about chord speed. So once you're at the point where you can just slam your fingers on and they'll play a C, slam your fingers on, they'll play a G without you having to look, then you're ready to start working on chord speed. And what you can do is set your metronome at a reasonable speed. I don't have one handy because I can't use it on my phone while I'm recording at the same time. And just do 4 beats of eighth notes on each chord. Okay, just like that, start at a speed where that's comfortable and gradually increase it. 4 beats on each chord. But what I want you to listen for is your goal on this is not to change within that half space you've got between eighth notes at the end of each bar. Your goal is to get the chord on the downbeat and not care about the end of the bar. So what is okay to hear is this. Okay, that's okay in this exercise. So it's okay to lift your fingers off, place them on the next string, and be strumming the open strings in between. And so your goal is to gradually reduce that open string time over time. But right now, what you want to focus on is getting the chord on the first beat of the bar and not worrying about the fourth beat of the bar, how it sounds. So you hear that little on the end of 4 each time I do it, where I'm not quite getting the chord fast enough between beats. So there's a little bit of, while my fingers are in the air, I'm still strumming, and then I put it down. And that sounds okay. Don't worry about it, because nobody will notice that. Again, the key is aim to get the downbeat correct. And when you got that, and listen to it up at speed. That little in between the chords, that open string eighth note in between the chords is still there when I'm playing it. And I'm not doing it on purpose. It's not possible to switch fast enough to get the chord to move without a little skip of an open string in between. But you're going so fast at that point, nobody notices that. So as long as you hit the downbeat of the chord where it belongs, you're good, you're golden. So start at a slow speed. Start with 8 eighth notes, 4 beats and eighth notes, and just focus on getting the downbeat right, and take as long as you need to lift the fingers off and place them just make sure they land on the downbeat. And then do that with every single set of chords you know. So you want to do that with C and G, and with C and D, with D and G, etc., etc., etc. Do it with every pair of chords you can, and then start doing with 3 chords per key. Combine them. Start slow, speeding up. Just do that over and over and over again, gradually getting faster, and you'll get it. There's no way around the repetition as your fingers learn their muscle memory. So once you've got that at 4 beats to the bar at a comfortable speed, then switch to 2 beats per chord. And then 1. There you go. So gradually work your way up. Now, again, there's one more thing that can help you here. With every chord, because you have 4 fingers and multiple strings, there's more than one way to finger almost every chord. I could do a C like that. I could do a C, oops, I could do a C like that. Now that's a lot more awkward. And there are some choices where you've got more than one fingering. One of the big ones is G. You'll see a lot of people will start out doing G like this, with the fuck off finger on the first string, first finger on the second string, and third finger on the high string. Because that's easier to play, but it's harder to switch chords. So if you're going from G to C, you've got to switch a whole rotation of your wrist, and every single finger moves to a different position. I want to show you a different G chord, which you'll see in a lot of chord charts. So not using the first finger, third finger on the low E string, second finger on the A string, and pinky on the high E string. The reason you want to practice this one, even though it's harder to play on its own, you'll have to work on strengthening your pinky. Even though it's harder to do that on its own, when you go to move from the G to the C, watch this. These 2 fingers here, to go from G to C, stay in the same ratio to each other, same relationship to each other. They just move over one string, and you put that one down. Then to go from C to G, move these down one and add the pinky. Lift this one, add the pinky. So these are in the exact same position, just one string over, so your fingers don't have to move as much, which means you can change chords faster. If you're doing G like this, it's a whole lot more movement to switch chords, which is going to slow you down. But if you're doing it like this, these fingers are just going back and forth. This one's just lifting up and down, and this one is just lifting up and down. A whole lot less movement. When you, whoops, strap popped off. When you eventually add F to that, same thing. These 2 fingers now just move up one more string, and this one just rolls over, which makes your chord switches a whole lot faster when you're using fingerings that are related, that are similar to the chords you want to go to. Also, on that, A, you're going to see a number of people who will show you playing an A like this. 1, 2, 3. So you've got three fingers in a row like that. If you're doing that, to go from that to D, to go from that to that, requires every finger to switch positions. To go from A to E, which is also a common switch, again, every finger has to switch positions, and you're going to miss you're going to miss your strings. You're going to put your fingers on the wrong string as you try to flip like that. So instead, play A like this. First finger on the G string, same fret, second finger on the D string, third finger on the B string. So now you've got, I don't know if you can see that, you've got a little triangle. 1, 2, 3. All 3 fingers are in the same fret. It feels a little awkward at first because they're all bunched together like this, but watch how you change chords. When I go from the A to the E, this finger stays on the same string, it just slides down 1 fret. These 2 just move over. Whole lot less movement. And then to go from the A to the D, this finger stays in exactly the same position, and these 2 just rotate up. So this becomes your anchor point, so that your hand has some place to know where it is. So when you put your fingers down, it knows from muscle memory what the relationship is, so that you're not having to flip everything around and try and find the strings. So the more you can find fingerings that are similar to the adjacent chords that you're going to be playing, the easier it is to start speeding up with that. So for the A, do that little triangle instead of the straight line. They sound the same. No difference in the sound. You're just swapping the order of these fingers around so that this becomes your pivot finger. So these 2 fingers rely on this finger so that they know where they are. So with the G chord, use the pinky, and with the A chord, use the little triangle, and your chord changes will get faster.